Okay, let me make sure that everything's looking good here, and we'll get going with this this second live stream. Yeah, looks like everything sounds good, looks good, so I'll just get right into it. So, now I'm going to be working on some of the portrait images for this live stream, or for the ebook, An Artist's X-Ray Vision, the female figure. So this is one that I'm working on right now, and yeah, the one on the male figure is already available. There's a link in the description, and so I'll be going through drawings. Some of it I'll be explaining, some of it I might not be too much, but I'm just going to be going through and talking about some of the things that I'm thinking about with these visuals. So this one's pretty much done. This was one I started earlier. And so let's get this one exported. And if you guys have questions, I'll try to pay attention to those as I'm working. But sometimes it takes me a second to see those, so I get one image with all of the diagrams by themselves, the diagrams with the visuals on top, with all of the visuals, and then each visual individually. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I'll also try recording on the camera. So let's go ahead and get into some other portraits. So this one, I feel like, oh wait, let's actually save. I like to turn all of the visuals on to remind myself of the ones that I've finished. Oh, whoops. And that way, at a glance, I can kind of tell which ones need to be adjusted. Let's do this one. So this one's kind of the portrait, but the neck and shoulders area. You can see there's a lot of anatomy going on that can be kind of confusing. Again, this ebook is not really a in-depth look at all of the anatomy. It's more a way of looking at the figure, and I'm trying to simplify as much as I can so that something as complicated as, let's say, the shoulder blade, which is very complicated. There's parts that are moving all around. But how I like to simplify it is a basic kind of zigzag shape. So let's go ahead and do that. I like to use this, what is that, turquoise color for the bones. And let's go ahead and look at the shoulder blade. So there's kind of this zigzag pattern that goes from the top of the shoulder blade, kind of travels towards the back. Oh, whoops, this is so top of the shoulder blade towards the back. And then it comes down and something like that. And then it, travels back that way. Like this one, it feels a little bit too close to a 90 degree, and I think it's a little bit more. There we go. That feels a little bit better. Oh, dang it. Held it too long. again. So it kind of zigs and then zags and lifts up. So just that simple line right there. Then I just want to make sure I feel like that's going along with the forms that I'm seeing, and I felt like it was a little bit off, so I'll just redo it a couple times until I feel like that line is accurate to what I'm seeing. So here it'll be a little bit easier to see that zigzag, so that it kind of zigs on the shoulder, comes back, zags, and then goes down. So there's kind of this zigzag shape, and in sculpting it's a little bit easier to see because you have the full figure and you can see it from above. It's a little bit harder to see from just one angle or this angle, but just that line of this is where the shoulder blade is, give an indication of where it ends and kind of starts to turn back, and then from that we can start to locate muscle masses that attach to the shoulders. And so let's let's continue with the bones, and I'm really just focused on the bones that impact the surface. So here we have the 7th cervical vertebrae. This one's an important one, that first bump. And then there's other ones that are traveling down. I'm just going to kind of give a little indication of those. Let's just do the first 2, and then with the rest of them we'll just say, this is the spine traveling down. So I'm not then it kind of travels up this way. I'll also get just a rough indication of the skull. So this is going to kind of curve. It's like more flat. Let's actually draw this part. And then there's like the cheekbone right there and the jawbone that's coming down. Something like that. Let me see what that looks like without this. So I don't know if I like that, so I'm just gonna undo those. Let's just put some of the, so on the back of the skull there's this little bump where these muscles attach to. And this is softer on women, so I'm actually going to soften this a little bit. It's just kind of a soft bump. It's a soft bump right there on the back of the skull. And that's where the muscles of the neck attach to. And I think for bones, that's pretty much the bones that I'm paying attention to. Actually, no, there's one more. There's this, let's see, sternocleidomastoid, so the mastoid process that's just behind the ear. So I'm just going to give an indication of that mastoid process that's coming over here. Mastoid process is kind of coming back up there. Let's actually connect that mastoid process with the external occipital protuberance, which is this that I'm trying to indicate. So it'll come and a little bump and do. Okay, so something like that for the for those muscles or those bony connections on the back of the skull, and then there's going to be a bunch of other stuff on the front. Maybe I'll try again to give kind of a shape of the skull overall inside there, something like that. And the cheekbones would be coming down there, and the jawbone would be kind of, you can see a little bit of the jawbone because the skull is kind of turned this way. A little bit. Okay, let me see what that looks like without the... I think that's good. Kind of debating whether I should have these other forms or not. sometimes less is more when it comes to these visual information. I don't like them to get too cluttered, so I am actually going to just keep it simple and just say, okay, there's the external occipital protuberance and the bones of the back. So I'm going to simplify it a little bit more than what I had. All right, let's go ahead and try to lay in some muscles. And I think I'm just going to let's see, is this going? It looks frozen. Is it frozen? Let me just check. Is it? The screen is frozen. I don't know if it's frozen for you guys. Let me make sure that things are going. Let me open this in another. Just trying to. Trying to make sure that just want to make sure that that it's not frozen. Oh, it does look like it's frozen right here. So what's going on? Having some technical issues. I don't even know if anybody can hear me. It doesn't look like they can. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. What is going on? Let's go ahead. I'm going to end the stream and start it over.